Hello, my name is Margarita and I'm from Russia. Now we'll take interview from Julia. Julia, could you tell about yourself and could you tell the reason why did you leave Russia and when it was?
Hello, Andrei and Margarita. Nice to see you. My name is Julia, as you said, and I came to Spain in November. Before in Russia, I was a municipal local deputy from 2017 to 2022.
In Moscow.
Yeah, in Moscow. It was Moscow district, Черемушки. So I was elected with support of the party Yabloko. It's an opposition party and democratic party in Russia, though it's not represented in the parliament at the moment, but there are members and there are people who support it. So in 2017, I had the campaign. I was doing door-to-door. I was going to apartments in my district and meeting people and explaining them that they would need a representative in the local parliament, municipal parliament, so that I could help them to achieve their goals, like, kids' playgrounds, roads in the area, some hospitals, schools, things like this. So I was elected.
At that moment, they called this idea "small good deeds." So
yes.
And you were selected with support of smart election program made by Navalny. Is it correct?
I guess it didn't exist at that moment, but we have the platform of Mr. Gudkov and Mr. Katz, who were also in the past, they were deputies. And there were like 1,500 people in Moscow who were trying to become deputies, and they were helping them with marketing, design, PR, and financing. And also we had some training from psychologists and politologists and stuff like this, which really helped us. And there was a community of those people, and it was really, fascinating and supporting. So many people, about 200 and something, were elected in the end. They were mostly elected in the center of Moscow and southwest of Moscow. That's the most districts of the opposition, where people really, go to vote and they support the opposition. So in my district, in my parliament, out of 12 members, only 5 were from Putin's Единая Россия. The rest were from the communists and the Democrats.
So less than half were pro-regime deputies.
Yes. We had we had more votes in the parliament for democratic ideas. So that's why our district was under total control and review of local regime people, because they were watching us, they were testing us, they were trying to buy somebody, to make somebody fear. So there were different.
I'm sorry, did they make some kind of provocations at that time? Something illegal?
I wouldn't say they were provocations, but they offered somebody some money or some position, to get. For example, for me, they damaged my car several times because they didn't like what I was saying during our sessions, and the ideas I was pro. And at the beginning, they were trying, to scare me. But when they understood that it doesn't work, they gave up. So they were just, playing this thing when they say, yeah, we heard you, we would do this. But in the end, they were doing these bureaucratic procedures when nothing happens.
So head of local administration in your district was pro-Putin guy.
Yes,
and
yes.
all that deputies you included were against regime.
Yes.
Most of
Yeah.
those deputies, and they tried to buy you, to scare you. Did they told you that they have cookies and you should become to the dark side?
Well, they never tried to buy me, but I know that some of my colleagues were reached, and we don't know till the end what happened, but some of them started to vote not very democratic. But I must underline that those who were elected as democratic candidates, they all lived in the district. I mean, they were local people. It's like your neighbor, and you could go to the shop and meet your deputy. While those pro-Putin's candidates, like, the directors of schools, of hospitals, of some kind of cultural houses, they were all from different...
Generally bureaucrats.
Yeah, they were all from other parts of Moscow, so they didn't live in the district, and they were not really interested in prosperity of the district, in the comfort of the people who live there, in the, safety of people who live there. So that's why when people...
lack of connection with local people. Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I would like to ask you, did you have fear from your children? Because when you told me about the problem with police, so it's did it have influence to your children or no? Like, did your children have some problem?
Okay, I should explain here for our viewers a little bit the situation. So after the 24th of February last year, I was still a deputy at that moment, and me and my colleagues, we signed a petition to Putin to stop the war. It was like the end of February, like at the very beginning. And afterwards, we also had some other petitions. We were going for, stand-ups, but it didn't work, as we know. But the regime started to kind of, trace people, to scare them, to get them out of the country. And on the sort of Independence Day of Russia, on the 14th of June, it's like the 12th of June, but it was like the first Labor Day after this. So when I went out at 8 o'clock in the morning to take my younger daughter to the kindergarten, I met policemen at my door. So they were standing there, as they said, since 5 a.m. so that I didn't, run away. So at 8 o'clock, they eventually met me, and they took me to the police station because they said that they have some case about me and they need to make the paperwork. So I spent there like 6 hours in the police station, trapped. I couldn't get out. I found out that they accused me that I demonstrated in Facebook, which was at that time already banned in Russia, that I demonstrated extremist symbols on my Facebook page dating 2019. So the smart voting of Alexei Navalny. And that is very funny because these symbols, they were never accepted as extremists, because we have a special list of extremist symbols, and these symbols, they are not there, and we have proof of it. But the court, which happened afterwards, it didn't find any, anything against it, and they said, yes, I'm guilty. I was demonstrating extremist symbols, which ones we don't know. So afterwards, yeah.
I'm sorry. We spoke before, and you already told us that that particular symbol, which they said kind of extremist symbol, was registered as a trademark to another company, not to Navalny. Well, that symbol was connected with commercial company.
Yeah, there was a story like a year before when some company from the south of Russia decided to register this name and this trademark as their own, and they did it. Alexei Navalny at that time, he was free, and he was against it. They went up till the high court, but they didn't manage to withdraw this decision, this registration. So this symbol is actually belongs to some company who produces sheep wool in the south of Russia. So you were prosecuted for showing a trademark of some agricultural company. Yes, and at the court, we asked the judge to call this company so that they would explain about the symbol, and they sent the invitation, but they never arrived, of course, because it's another city far from Moscow, and they were not, of course, interested in participating. So yeah, I was accused of demonstrating these extremist symbols, which are not extremists and don't belong to Navalny, so total, mess up. And as a result, I couldn't participate in the elections as a candidate because this article doesn't let me do this for 1 year. So they did this on purpose so that I didn't participate in the elections again, because I had renommee, people knew me, because for 5 years I was acting very actively, and people knew me, and I also participated in Moscow parliament elections in 2019, so kind of I was known, and they were afraid that I could, win their candidates from the regime, and that's why they just kind of, cut me off.
So they staged this kind of case, extremist case, and they guaranteed that you have no chances to be re-elected in autumn of 2022.
Yeah.
So they did it in advance. And then what else?
Well, it was the same. It was the same for many of my colleagues who were thinking of re-electing, and they also had such kind of, cases and courts and arrests.
And I'm sorry, how many of them were framed by police? You said it is about.
I don't want to lie, but I think it's more than 30 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And as Margarita asked about kids, of course, my daughter, she was 7 years old at that moment. She was kind of scared because, when you get out of your apartment and bump into some, men, well, one was in uniform, but the other was just, like an ordinary person. And she was scared. Yeah. And my elder daughter, she is 16 now, and she understands everything. And, from while she was a baby, she saw me, watching Navalny. And when she grew up, she also subscribed to all the channels, and she was watching all these palace for Putin, etc., etc. So, of course, she kind of, a girl of opposition, but she's too young to participate. But of course, it's not very comfortable to understand that anytime you can kind of bear withheld by police and taken, you can't go to school or to work, you have to go to the police, you will lose your time, you will kind of, have to spend a whole day there.
And
so
now
that was in June 2022, when you had this kind of incident with police, and you said that you spent a lot of money in court and you hired a lot of lawyers, as you said.
Well, yeah, I had a lawyer and another legal counsel, but my supporters, they helped me to collect the money for the fine, which I finally got in August. Yeah, because as I told you before, it was an administrative case, and usually it's like, quite a thin pack of papers. But in my case, it was like 3 books like this. I mean, like heavy case, because we had the Ministry of Justice, we had the organization which registered trademarks, and they all brought some, paperwork which went to this case, and it was very heavy. And we had 5 sittings, and it took quite a bit of time. So it was like a long process. I had to kind of, miss my job several times to attend the hearings. So it was really.
I'm sorry. In some moment, you understood that they prepared very well, and they for sure will decide to admit your crime, and you will not have chance to be re-elected. In what moment in the summer you found yourself agreed that it will not happen?
Well, actually, everything seemed quite, surrealistic, because their facts, they didn't, make the case. I mean, in a normal world and a normal court, the judge would say that this doesn't come in a story. It's not, I can't make a decision here because all your facts are kind of unrealistic. But in Russia in 2022, it was, nobody looked at the facts. They just wanted to make a decision. They wanted to accuse me, and they did it. I mean, there were very many mistakes, procedure mistakes, facts mistakes, but nobody cared at that moment. Of course, we understood that it would be like this, but kind of for the future, for history, we wanted to make this, all this to be kind of registered, written, and remembered, so that they made a decision on the basis of, surrealistic facts. They just didn't make the story.
Okay. So in which month you were accused in this crime in court? In September?
So, yeah, we had the final sitting, I guess, the beginning of August. Then we had the appeal, which happened like afterwards very quickly, because they had to, be on time before the elections. So like the middle of August was clear that I can't participate in the elections in September. So I was helping those candidates who stayed, in the list. But unfortunately, in my district, there were nobody. And now there are 12 pro-regime deputies who do nothing for the, people who live there.
So that you are telling us that new election, which occurred in October,
September.
In September. So new members of municipal council in your district, all of them totally pro-Putin deputies.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. We found that Yulia had no chance to be re-elected in September, and so when you found that you should leave Russia.
When the war started, after 2 weeks of shock, I understood that I don't want to stay there, and I want to go out because I have kids and I want some future for them. So we were thinking of where to go, what to do. And after discussion with some friends, we decided to go to Spain. We get in touch with some people who helped us to prepare documentation, etc., etc. And for kind of half a year, we were getting ready, you know, finishing all the business in Russia, selling cars. I don't know. I lost my job, by the way, in the process, because I was working in the bank and it got under sanctions. And in August, I was told that the company doesn't need my services anymore because I was dealing with foreign banks. And since the bank was under sanctions, it didn't need to make any connections with other countries. So I was not needed. So that was like the final point when I understood that, well, it's time to apply and it's time to speed up the process.
Mm-hmm. And that was in August 2022.
Yeah.
When you lost your position. So yeah. Sanctions actually affected you mostly.
Well, but you know, when people ask me about sanctions, I say that it's kind of positive deeds, because I think that the sanctions really work. Maybe we don't see it like, you know, that like Putin or his oligarchs suffer, but they do suffer. So I was working in Alpha Bank, and as you know, there were many issues with Friedman and Dublin in UK, and all this, you know, discussions and everything. And the same for the rest of the oligarchs and the rest of the Putin's friends. I mean, they lost possibility to manage their properties, their accounts abroad, and so they do suffer. They do. And maybe you heard this conversation of another Prigozhin and Akhmedov senator. They were discussing between themselves how
Joseph Prigozhin, Joseph,
yes.
Sound producer.
Yeah. So as you remember, they were discussing that sanctions really work and they are really hard, and they don't like them. And well, these are the people who can make changes, because like senator, you know, he sits in the Senate, so he is one of the persons who makes some difference. So I think that sanctions work. Of course, they influence ordinary people as us. And yeah, we do suffer because we can't have our credit cards work abroad. We can't just come to Spain and open accounts before we get some kind of status here. Yeah, but I think, yeah, that's the price we pay. We
don't have. I'm sorry, we don't have direct flights from Russia to European Union.
I think that's the most difficult, because like before you can travel from Moscow to Alicante for kind of 200-300 euros, but now it's like you have to go through Istanbul, and it's more than 1,000. It's very expensive. It's a very long trip, because when we went in November, as I said, I have 2 kids and I also have 2 cats, so I had to buy tickets beforehand so that we could take these cats on board. And when we came to Sheremetyevo, it's the airport in Moscow, to register for the flight, it turned out that even though I went to the Turkish Airlines office myself in person, they forgot to register cats for the trip from Istanbul to Barcelona. So we had to change the second flight. So instead of, you know, travel from Moscow to Alicante 8 hours, yeah, we had to wait another 7 hours in Istanbul. So it turned out like 1 day. So it was really tough, and it was very uncomfortable for kids, for cats, poor creatures, because they had to spend the whole day in this, you know, in the bags. So
Julia,
yeah,
I'm sorry, but you again proven that Russian women are strong and beautiful simultaneously, with 2 cats and 2 kids. And I heard that your ex-husband was somewhere there.
yeah,
I
my
mean,
ex-husband
accompanied
actually
you.
left
No.
Russia in September for Kazakhstan. So he had to, you know, had to flee in September when this mobilization thing was announced, and he spent like 4 days in the car on the board to Kazakhstan. And then, yeah, we met in Barcelona, and then we went to Alicante all together. So yeah, we had to travel all alone with my kids and my cats and all the baggage and luggage, you know. But yeah, we did it, and it was like a very long trip. It was very exhausting, but you know, when we arrived, I kind of, you know, breath out, and I understood that, yeah, we are safe now.
And what do you feel with forced immigrations? Like, can you tell us about your feelings? What you feel? What your children feel? And do you wanna go back to Russia when this celebration will finish?
Okay, so we arrived. It was like late November, almost December. We were lucky because the weather was very great in Spain at that moment. It was like 2023, and everybody said that it's outstanding, because usually in December it's not very, you know, warm. But we rented an apartment with the sea view, so you know, it was kind of a vacation, and we were very happy to be here. And as I said, I felt safe here. And well, the kids loved it, but for example, my elder daughter, she finishes the 10th grade now, so she has to pass exams, and we realized that it's kind of tough for her to study in Spain in Spanish, because she doesn't speak Spanish, and you know, these classes are very complicated. So we decided that she would go back to Moscow to pass all the exams for the year. So now she's in Moscow. And well, when you have a kid of 16, you know, this Romeo and Juliet age, when they have friends and boyfriends left in Moscow, it's very hard to persuade them that they should go back to Spain now. But my younger daughter, she plays tennis. She plays tennis since she was 3. And when we left Moscow, it was like 5 times a week, kind of very professional. And Spain is one of the best countries in Europe, which provides such kind of sports facilities. So here she goes to school, she learns Spanish, she plays tennis, she is kind of very, very fond of this. And as for returning back to Russia, well, if we were in a fairy tale, you know, when the bad king or the bad witch is conquered, and the other day everything is back to normal, of course I would have come back. But I understand that even if Putin dies or something happens and he is out of the control, there would be other people who are not much better than him, and it would last for quite a period of time. So I assume that we would have to stay in Spain for quite a time, and like in 5 or maybe 10 years, maybe there won't be any need to go back to Russia anymore. I mean, because we would be, living in Spain by that time, speaking Spanish, working here, studying here, and maybe, I don't know, we will see.
Thank you.
Okay, so how do you think, how many Russians flee Russia in 2022, and specifically in September, November, so after so-called mobilization was announced?
Well, since we don't have any statistics reports in Russia anymore, we can't, judge how many exactly. But we can
trust them.
Try, we can suppose, and what I've heard that it's about 1 million people during last year, and I think that most of them left country like February, March, April, and then in September. So I think it's kind of, half and half and something in between. So, and people are still living, because I have some friends who are preparing, who are kind of, like me, they are making documents. They want, like steady situation, because they have kids, they have businesses, they have to kind of, relocate. They can't do it like in one day. They have to get prepared.
Let me be devil's advocate, and I will tell, let's pretend I'm a Putin supporter, and I will say, well, 1 million, and we have 1,400 million people in Russia. So 1 million is nothing. It's less than 1%. So why we should care about them? As many as so well known in Russia as turbo patriots, they say, well, now Russia more clear, more we can breathe there freely, because all that they call us liberasti. So they all that foreign agents, all that bad people already not in Russia, so we can do whatever we want. We can build better Russia, because now we all united around our leader. So what do you think? Why Putin's regime should care about these 1 million people?
Maybe they shouldn't care about these million people, because they really believe that they would build this kind of perfect Russia without them. But as we know that most of these people who left the country, they were, thinking, they were intelligent, they were professionals in many fields, like IT guys, designers, writers, journalists, many scientists. Many scientists left, many doctors left. So many people who could help Russia to be great, they left the country because they don't believe in it. And as for the numbers, if you remember, when Putin was answering some questions, he kind of said that behind the Ural Mountains, there are only 12 million people living. And so maybe there are no 1,400 million people in Russia. There may be less. And we should also deduct those who went to this war and died, or became disabled, or became missing, or etc. It's very actually sad to look at my country, which suffers all these things now, and that many people left. And those who left, they are not professionals, and they can't build anything, for the future. Well, maybe they can support the current situation, but I'm not sure that they can input something in the future of the country.
I need to, well, I am totally agree with you, because I call this brain drain. I mean that brains literally leaking Russia, and brains, all that initiative people, they are left in country, and I think they start thinking about third wave of people who should left Russia, because as you probably know, but our subscribers don't know that in Russia they made another crazy regulation that about electronic drafts. So now if you register, I mean, speaking only about men, so if they register, put you in register, nevertheless, if you know or you didn't know that you're in that register, you're already guilty. I mean, you should go to the war. This is new rule. So people third way, you came to Spain as independent person. So you have you chose a program which not let you work here. And you said it is one of your one thing which disappointed you. What else disappointed you in Spain, or maybe surprised you in a good way in Spain?
Well, not that I'm surprised, but I very like that people here really want to help to get involved in life here. I mean, my daughter who goes to school here, she has separate classes of Spanish because they want her to start speak and understand as fast as possible. So they help her a lot. And in tennis school also, they have some Russian kids who translate her so that she could, you know, be in the speed of the rest of the group. And I never felt any aggression here towards Russian people, because, for example, we rent an apartment, and also we rent a car here, and the car has Russian plates. So it's, you know, Russian flag on it, and when you look at it, you understand that it's Russian. And I heard stories that you know, these cars were kind of you know, somebody scratched it or things like this, but I never met anything like this. I mean, I'm driving this Russian car and I never get any special attention.
My father has a problem with car because he has also car with Russian flag, and he has like his car was a little bit broken because he has Russian flag on it.
Well, maybe last year when it was very, you
are speaking about which, could you tell us where are you living in Spain, in which region? So
okay. So
we need to understand
we live in Costa Blanca, and specifically in Altea. It's of course a touristic town. It's quite small, and it's very artistic, I would say, because we have galleries, we have live shows, live music. So it's very, you know, very positive here. And maybe because of this, we don't get any special attention as Russians. I mean, everybody's very kind, helping, and supportive. So
it is good things that you don't feel any aggression, any wrong judgment about you from Spanish people, from native speakers, from well, do you have any interactions, maybe you did have interactions with Ukrainians here? Because we heard rumors that Ukrainians also living in Spain and other European countries, they kind of hate Russians, and they express their hatred against Russians in all possible manners. Did you have, or do you have now any connections with Ukrainians? Maybe talks, maybe dinners, I don't know, anything.
Well, what I was saying is concerning also Ukrainians, because in school we have Ukrainian children, in tennis club we have Ukrainian children, in the building where we live also we have Ukrainian families, and they never ever try to kind of, be aggressive to us. Well, because when we talk with the moms in school, I never kind of hide my position, because I'm against the war, I'm against Putin. So maybe that's why they understand who I am, and they have no need to be aggressive with me, because they understand me. But anyway, even when we go to the pool in our apartment building, there are families from Ukraine, and my daughter plays with their children, so they are very positive and understanding, so no problem. I wouldn't say that here in Spain it's a problem. Maybe in other countries of Europe or world maybe it is, but I don't think it's a problem in Spain, because here everybody's very relaxed, very positive, very helping, very friendly, and
yeah, well, okay, totally agree with you that well, both of us, we don't have knowledge in Spanish language, and unfortunately not so many Spanish people have ability to speak in English, or they a bit shy about their abilities in English. So you need to know Espanol, you need to know Spanish language here, but it doesn't matter, according to my observation, doesn't matter how good or bad Spanish person in English, they always want to try to help you. They always want to using to translate, or Google Translate or something like that. They always want to try to let you, well, show you their kindness and willing to help always. It's kind of surprising for me. Very warm people. And also, what do you think about other Russians which still stays in Russia, and would you recommend them going here in Spain, stay in Spain, or maybe you recommend them go choose another country?
Okay, just 1 second. Sorry, here. So,
okay.
yeah, I understand the
What
question.
is your recommendation to other Russians? Maybe you will, separate your recommendations for men and women, or you have recommendation for both. Stay or leave?
Well, for me, of course, I like the country, I like people here, I like climate, weather. At the moment, I like everything here. Apart from the fact that, for example, with my visa, I can't work here. And it's a kind of problem, because I don't know how to earn money, how to earn a living, and what to do. But some of my colleagues, deputies, they went to Germany, which provided them kind of humanitarian visa. So they have some financial support, they have some place to live, and they also have this ability to work, which is quite important. So for those who don't have any source of finance, maybe
Remote
it's better
income.
to go. Yeah,
Remote
income.
income.
So, yeah, so maybe they should go, if they have this possibility, they should go to Germany, because this country provides the possibility to work. Because in Spain it's quite hard, because there not so many places to work here, and the country is not very maybe fond of providing foreigners also this permits of work. I know that some of my friends went to Portugal because it's more flexible with this, and they opened some kind of startups there, and they started also to work and to live in Portugal. Also nice climate, and also European country. Some of my friends went east, some went west, somebody is in the United States. So there are many places on the planet where you can go. But of course, at the moment, I like Spain, and I invite everyone here, and I said that I will help you to make the paperwork and everything if you need. And
you
I
think
think
that
Spain is quite a choice.
you think that we heard that you don't have illusions about what will be next after Putin disappearance, let's say, from the power for some reason. So you think that people should go into another country and not to fight with regime? Or
well, that's a personal choice. I mean, somebody has this resource to stay and to fight. Somebody has no resource, or he has kids or parents which he wants to make safe, and he goes away. So I think that depends on the person. If the person has this resource to stay and to fight, of course he should stay. I mean, these are some maybe young people, maybe vice versa, elderly people, because what would they do in Spain, for example, if they come here?
Okay, how do you think? What is tougher, to stay in Russia and fight regime, or hide from regime? So someone may choose to go in internal immigration, so to hide from regime. And maybe you think that going to another country for temporary, or maybe not temporary, for permanent immigration, it is tougher. And how do you think, what is more difficult in general? Of course, it's personal thing, but in general.
Well, in general, I think that stay and fight is, of course, tougher, because you may be put to jail. Stay and hide is something, I think soon it would become impossible. I mean, you either support the regime or you fight the regime. There won't be any place to hide. But I must say that flee to another country is also very difficult. I mean, you make a decision of your life that you leave everything which you were, living for all of your life. All your friends, all your connections, your work, your, I don't know,
friends and everything.
Some friends, friends, relatives, everything. So, and you have to go to new country. You have to learn new language. You have to find new job. You have to find new friends. You have to find new place to live. And it's really difficult to, make all of this. I mean, I know that some people left the country like emotionally in one day. They didn't think about what they would do, and now they have to solve all these problems. Some people like me, they were preparing for this, and I assure you that it's not very easy to make this decision, because your kid's life is at stake, because you have to understand what you would do with them. How would you support them? How would you provide them studying, living? I mean, what would you eat? Where would you live? I mean, that's really a difficult thing, and it's not very, easy, just pack and go.
Okay. So we already spoke for about 1 hour and maybe more. And let me tell you that I'm really appreciated your participation, and I need to tell all our subscribers that we have this kind of support from persons who already walk this way, like Julia, and we have here in Spain organization of free Russians, I would say, not good, but free Russians. I mean, I don't like this kind of cliche about good Russian and bad Russian. I think good Russian, it is free Russian. So we have here this organization, association, Aliva, which we represent. And for you personally, Julia, I would say that with your beauty and your cleverness, you will find another husband here, and you will be busy. I think that will be your occupation for next few years. You are thinking, what I gonna do here? So after this interview, a lot of subscribers will write you. I hope so. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.